Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Active brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I'm Dustin. We are looking at AMD once again. Semis are on fire. Now, the one thing that's interesting about AMD today, I will say, is that you are down on the day. You're down in the past 5 days and you're down over the past 3 weeks. Now, it's fascinating to me because AMD, if you can look on this chart over here, AMD has a culture. It has a style. It has a separate, what you'd say is like a je ne sais oui. I don't really speak French, but you can tell that it likes to pull back. It likes to see big, expansive moves, pull back, big, expansive moves, pull back, big, expansive moves, and we're going to pull back. So if you've been trading AMD or you've been following AMD, and you can see that we are at 178 in the middle, and the bottom of the range is 172, and the top of the range is 223. You tell me what you think you should do. You have 24% upside. You have 3% downside. Now, if we look overall at the raw data, what I like to see here is that the price is actually it's 2 standard deviations below its mean right now. You can see that's blue lettering with black background, or blue background with black lettering. That means it's 3 standard deviations below its mean, versus where you see it here when it has red lettering with a white background. That means it's 3 standard deviations above its mean, and most likely the price is going to regress. Now that we're back down, we're below the 5-day moving average, we're below the 23-day moving average. We can see that volume is essentially starting to dry up. And when I say dry up, that's all relative, because when the prices were screaming higher, you were seeing multiple days over 100 million shares. As the price is still kind of waffling around, you're seeing many days over 85 million or even 70 million. Now we hit 57 million shares traded yesterday, and we hit 71 million shares traded today. We are $13 below the 23-day moving average. That is crazy when you think about the type of momentum fundamentally that this has behind it. Now, if we look at the signals, we do have a go short in the short term, intermediate term. We don't have anything in the longer term yet. We do see bearishness in the short term, intermediate term, but it's still bullish in the longer term. We want to respect that. If we're looking here at the rolling sentiment, the unfortunate part of this situation, to be honest, is that this just isn't doing much. And the reason why it's not doing much is because you're not seeing these gigantic swings. And I say that as crazy as it seems for something that's up 72% in 6 months. But if you really look at where the price is right now in the middle of March, March 25th, it's really not that different from where it was in January. Now, you've had it go sideways for a couple months. You got a big move up, and we are essentially back to where we were. So that's why you're not seeing the sentiment be really aggressive, because overall, if you're looking back on this time series, things haven't gone that far, even though it's been quite the volatile ride. Now, if we're looking at these trading signals, I don't like the fact that I see 4 of the bull key 3, or I don't like that I see bear key 3, 4 of them. I do not like that I only see 1 of the bull key 3, and I see a small bear only. I don't see any of these big bears. Or big bulls. I don't see a swift bull. I don't see a 1-month trigger just yet. But what I do expect, again, is probably a reset. Now, I don't expect the price of AMD to go below what the low is here, so probably lower than 160. I do not expect to see that, but I would expect to see it stay in this range for a little bit, and then we try to go back up over 200. Again, if we look at what that range was, it was looking at a top at 225, I think. Now, if you look at the chart, you can see very beautiful move. This is a fantastic move since September from 100 to 200. That's a great 100% move. If we're looking at the daily sentiment, again, things have been shaking and moving, but we really haven't gone anywhere recently. If we look at the volume is starting to inflect, which I like. I brought up the volume when we were looking at the raw data, and that's because volume is a great indication of demand. And if the price is going in one direction, you want to be very respectful of it. Now, if we're looking at volatility, we can see it is starting to roll over. It really peaked here on the 15th of March, and we started to roll over, and then we have a rollover in the volatility correlation as well. I do actually like when you see volatility rolling over and the correlation is starting to roll over. It's now below the red line. One of the reasons that is 2 negatives make a positive. As this is falling and this is falling, you'd expect the price to go sideways to up. Now, if we look at the overall trade range here, we were just talking about this. The top of the range is 223. The bottom of the range right now is 160. Now, the only thing that I don't like to see is that essentially this range has started to roll over a little bit, but we've seen this story before. This is what I'm saying about AMD. You've seen it roll up, come back, consolidate, and then break up above the top, roll up, consolidate, roll up, consolidate, and now it's rolling up and it's consolidating again. This is why I have true faith in AMD, as well as when I look at it on the longer term chart. We look at this range here. We can see the top of the range is still breaking out. It's at 230. So I feel very comfortable with where we are. At the bottom of the range is starting to curl up and go higher as well. Makes me feel really, really good. Now, I do want to point out that when we're looking at AMD overall, I generally think that the most important parts are going to be the price, the volume, the volatility, and the trade range. And one of the things that I'm doing is I've actually made this little product for you. So let's say you're like, oh, I like this video, but this guy doesn't cover AMD every day, because I don't. I only cover what's on the most active stocks. What you could do in the future when I make this available for you to purchase is you could actually end up using this tool. This tool is going to do the exact same thing of what we're looking at on this specific sheet. Not this sheet where you're seeing the graphs just yet. I'll continue to code and develop for you so that you can do stuff. I'm building it all myself. But if we're looking specifically here at AMD, what I like about this is that this indicator here is actually showing us that we were seeing that 2 standard deviation move earlier than when it showed on my original model. This updated model, I believe, is actually much better. And the reason why I say that is because it's much more sensitive to the moves intraday, as well as the actual way in which I calculate the trade range. I think it's just much more improved. And the reason why I don't do it here is because I needed to make something for myself, because I got concerned that the model that I built was too much at the whims of Google. Because if this one formula doesn't work, nothing works. Like if I delete this right here, nothing works in this whole thing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Everything is derived purely based off of that Google Finance look. And I'm concerned, I'll be honest, if I don't get data from Google or they decide to shut it off, I do not want to lose the model that I've worked so hard for. And that is exactly why I built this stock manager. And this is why I'm starting to use it in a way where I'm going to start giving this away. Now, I do want to continue to develop it, so I do need customers. And here's what you'll get. First off, if you go to bootlegmacro.gumroad.com/EE, you get a 1 month free trial. If this sucks, just cancel and tell me why you don't like it so I can improve it. But what you're going to get every single day is you're going to get a list. You're going to get this list, and it's going to be available for you behind the subscription. You'll be able to see the price, the volume, the trend, the rolling 20-day, the range itself in terms of the bottom and the top. And if there's a lower high or higher high, I'll put some commentary on there, and you're going to get the Dow, the equal weighted, the small caps, all of it. Go ahead and take a screenshot. I don't care. This will be outdated by tomorrow. What I'm looking at here, though, is I want to just build a group of people who are interested in getting the same kind of model and want to use it, because I think this is a great model, especially if you're thinking about just trading individual positions. You've got probably a small little account, or you're thinking about just getting a little bit more insight and you want a tool that you can look at for somebody else's model. This model is fantastic. It's just I was very concerned about what would happen if I stuck with Google. So now I got to protect myself. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And before you go, if you haven't subscribed to anything else, subscribe to the New High newsletter. We send you 25 stocks to your inbox every single Sunday. Stocks breaking out to 1-year highs, stocks breaking out to all-time highs. Stocks, honestly, that you want to check out because it's a great week. It's a great way to get your trading week started and just start seeing the new breakouts. Talk to you soon.